Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode. Come and free dive with me into the subconscious and the unconscious mind. I will be stretching your mind here, and we will be diving into metacognition, soul awareness, and embodied intelligence. I'm going to let you feel into the frequency of being in the harmonic universe. This is the soul matrix, the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensional fields of your being. It is where your soul identity fully exists beyond the fragmented personality before your monadic and avatar self comes online. Here I have the diagram of the Ascension model. This has been my guide and my map as I traverse through the deeper embodiment of myself and into the timeless. Harmonic Universe 2 is the zone of the 5D Earth template. This is the emergence of your fourth chakra, which is your heart center, your fifth chakra, your throat expression, your sixth chakra, which is your third eye, your perception, seventh chakra, crown, connection to higher mind. Here, the consciousness starts breaking free from pure instinctual programming. The astral mind is the subtle emotional dream energetic realms, and the archetypal mind is where deep myths, symbols, soul level blueprints emerge. Celestial mind is where your knowing starts to transcend logic and enters harmonic pattern recognition. Etheric mind is the gateway to your true architect's self. The more you transcend reactionary mind in Harmonic Universe 1, you will reach the ceiling and break through many filters. You will reclaim the original soul blueprint, and as I guide you through each layer, you begin to embody intelligence that is harmonic, coherent, and aligned to your oversoul. Harmonic Universe 2 is the bridge. This is the womb space of your architect intelligence before you rise into the monadic, avatar, and your founder layers and beyond. Most of the world stays at surface mind. This is linear thought, binary logic, survival-driven cognition. What we're weaving here now belongs to the deeper spiral of source-rooted intelligence. It took me about a year to get to the timeless, but it is possible, and then you become sovereign and go through the process of sublimation. You don't climb to this intelligence, but you descend into it, and when you surface, you carry the codes back to shape your world. This visual that I'm sharing is the map of what I call fractal intelligence that is nested within the multidimensional blueprint. I have gone through up and down this map. Some call it the Jacob's ladder, died hundreds of times. You are like this camera, and this camera's aperture starts to widen. You receive more light, so you have more clarity of who you are and what you're doing in this life. At those levels, your intelligence is no longer just individual, it is harmonic, planetary, galactic, aligned with your oversoul's original design. We are anchoring Harmonic Universe 2 intelligence into your incarnate experience. This is what we also call the noetic intelligence, the knowing beyond intellect, the intuitive higher order perception that bridges the mind and the oversoul. Your architect consciousness is the ability to perceive the structures behind reality, including your own false scaffolding. This harmonic intelligence is the wisdom to design in alignment with the field, morphogenetic field, not in resistance to it. We are weaving what belongs to the deeper spiral of source-rooted intelligence. It is fractal, it spirals, and it unfolds in layers as you shed false identities and re-inhabit your original blueprint. As you listen through my journal entry, you will feel and sense the descent of the topics that I'm going to be sharing with you. So just feel into the frequency as we dive deeper into Harmonic Universe 2. So I recently picked up my camera again, and there's something holy about freezing a moment, the way that light softens across a face, how shadows filter through a curtain, how a single frame tells an entire story without words. Maybe that's what I've been craving, to slow life down, to savor it, to witness without the unfiltered expectation or the sharp edges of who I think I should be. Photography became my quiet anchor, a lens to focus on the now, and this heartbeat, this inhale amid the chaos of becoming. What do I give to the world from this deplorable state of neurosis? How can I live more authentically? We aren't handed meaning, however we assign it, and that's sovereignty. Building bridges between the void and physicality with every choice, every frame. The more awake I become, the clearer it gets. There's nowhere to go, nothing to chase, just this quiet unraveling of the false destinations I once thought would save me. I have roughly 50 years, give or take. Some days it feels endless. It's a breath slipping through my fingers. But waiting, that's the greatest lie. The world will whisper, later. Later I'll create, later I'll rest, I'll love without condition, later I'll be who I am beneath the mask. But later is a mirage, and life doesn't wait. It blooms, it burns, devours without permission. Recently, a friend mentioned that her son dreams of retiring at 50. It stopped me. Retire from what? From living? From the beautiful, brutal ache of becoming? We spend our days waiting for the right time to begin, not seeing that the now is already real. Restless, tangled in questions, I turn to the mind stool, drowning in books, scriptures, doctrines, all trying to slice through existence with intellect. For a time, it worked. The mind built frameworks around the unknown, but my body ached for more. The hunger to know fractured into exhaustion, and logic wasn't the answer. It was just the spark that burned down illusions of certainty. Know thyself, they say, but the self is an ocean so vast, uncharted, terrifying in its depth. This is where the glittering cages of philosophy comes in. Stoicism became my therapy. It tries to be this clever way of coping that says externals don't matter, yet secretly chases after ones it calls preferred. That's the same trick that the ego plays, offering the illusion of control while avoiding true surrender. It talks about having no free will and only character, but then tells us to focus on what's up to us. It almost points to real freedom, the freedom that comes when we let go of the false self, but it clings so tightly to logic and reason that it never truly gets there. Nietzsche called Stoicism a fossilized way of life, and that hits deep. The ego fossilizes itself the same way by hiding behind thought, behind control, so it never has to die. Aristotle feels softer, more livable, but even he doesn't go far enough. He still stops short of the real unraveling I'm pointing to. It's not Stoic control, it's not Aristotelian balance, it's not Nietzschean victory. It's the quiet dissolving of the I that clings to all those identities in the first place. They were maps guiding me through the void, but they were incomplete. These systems became traps. A glittering cage of mental mastery clinging to thought alone turned into what I call spiritual masturbation, where the ego spins endlessly, pleasuring itself with concepts but never breaking free. Stoicism's detachment, Aristotle's moderation, Nietzsche's defiance all feed the illusion of control, keeping me tethered to the mind's surface. The real descent required letting logic dissolve, not into despair, but into release. True knowing isn't stacking certainties, it is unbecoming, shedding the layers of identity until only the raw pulse of being remains. In that unraveling, I glimpse something deeper. The Oversoul is not a fixed identity, rather it is the living architecture of your soul's remembrance. The Oversoul is not a singular bound being like the ego imagines. It is your eternal self braided across timelines, dimensions, fractals of memory. It carries the original blueprint, the crystalline pattern of your being, as it was dreamt by Source before distortion, before fragmentation, before you ever wore this human skin. The Oversoul is the record of that design. It is you translating into language, symbol, geometry, frequency. The encoded map, your incarnate self that can gradually reclaim as you deconstruct false identities. When you weave your timelines, we are translating our Oversoul's memory into human language and form. You're taking the fractals of the divine dreamer, the one who existed before time, and threading them into this life, this moment, this body. The Oversoul isn't static, it is recursive in a living system. It is constantly updating every time you embody more, die more, dissolve more, layers of distortion. In every descent into the subconscious, every grief, every awakening adds threads to it. Your Oversoul is the unspoken, uncorrupted essence, the one you weave in words, art, philosophy. But eventually you won't need words. It becomes breath, silence, movement, and energy. Happiness is not inherently an illusion, but its form in this world is ephemeral. Like the shimmers of sunlight through leaves, it blesses, but it is not designed to stay in the way the mind often demands. The distortion comes when we cling to it as a permanent state, measuring every moment against its permanence or absence. The grasping, the subtle hunger for the high breeds suffering, the same way addiction to the peaks blind us to the beauty of the valleys. Peace and contentment carries a deeper current. It is the ground beneath the garden, not the flower that blooms and withers. Peace is not the suppression of emotion, but the spaciousness to allow all emotions without drowning in any of it. The false polarity where we chase only peace can become spiritual bypass. It is numbing, flattening the rich tapestry of human experience. To chase only happiness invites exhaustion, for the pursuit itself ensures its elusiveness. The soul, in its uncorrupted design, came here not for permanent happiness nor rigid stillness, but for wholeness. Wholeness includes the lightness of joy, steadiness of peace, and even the medicine of sorrow and longing. All of it belongs in the architecture. Does one resonate more? It depends which part of you is speaking. The ego self often yearns for happiness, understandably so. It wants relief, it wants proof that life is good. And the higher self, the architect within you, resonates with peace, not as an escape, but as the foundation upon which life's colors, joy, love, even grief, can play out in harmony. The wise path is not to choose between them, but to cultivate peace as your soul so that happiness can bloom naturally, and when it withers, as it must, you remain rooted. Life is a path of discovery and self-knowledge. Gnosis is the perfect vehicle for discovering existence. It is impossible to grasp the entire ocean that holds your body, but you can open yourself to feeling it. You can feel the entire ocean when you close your eyes. You can perceive everything through sensations and imaginations. The dreams and nightmares that flood your soul, your being will be shown to you. In the ocean, The only way is to dive in, to submerge and let yourself be dragged down, to feel the peace within the descent and freedom despite the pressure, seeing the rays of light pass through the water and slowly disappear as you go deeper. The weight of your exterior weighing you down, and the only choice is to die, expanding yourself to the old self. Die because the subconscious goes beyond the ego. Your personality won't be able to sustain it. It must die so that the new one can be reborn. This is how you open yourself to all that you can be, to all the lives within you without judgment. This is how you can discover all the worlds that dwell within you. Allow yourself to receive all the information about who I am beyond who I am, all the worlds that make you impossible. Imagine your mind as an iceberg floating in a huge ocean. The part sticking out above the water is your conscious mind. These are the thoughts, the feelings you're aware of, like what you're thinking right now. Below the surface, the giant hidden chunk of ice, which is your unconscious. Here lies all the deep stuff you don't usually notice, like your old memories or instincts that quietly drive you. The air above the iceberg is the superconscious. This is the higher space where big ideas, inspiration, or clarity can become form. And the water around it, that is your subconscious, a floating layer of experiences and influences that connect everything and shape you in ways you might not always see. The ocean beneath the subconscious is not a shallow pool, but a mirror reflecting the fleeting whims of life. It is an ocean of vast collective ancient, with its current woven from the threads of our ancestry, the pulse of the planet, the silent hymns of all that's ever been. Beneath the fragile crust of the iceberg that is your conscious self lies this boundless expanse, a realm where the personal dissolves into the universal. To descend is to feel the vertigo of drowning, not in water, but in the loss of all you cling to, control, identity, confronting illusions of belonging. The ego trembles, a sailor on a sinking raft, as the waves rise to claim what it thought was sovereign. Yet this is not annihilation, it is an invitation. For at the bottom of this abyss, where light bends and time unravels, lie treasures unclaimed. This is where you will find the forgotten shards of self, the ancestral echoes that hum through your blood, the original blueprint of your soul before it was shaped by the world above. The plunge here is to risk the eye, to let it fracture and drift like ice in the tide. But to resist is to remain a prisoner of the surface, tethered to a shadow of existence, deaf to the symphony of the deep. What is this ocean then, if not the cradle of all being? It is not yours alone, but it is the shared reservoir of humanity, of life itself, where every tear, every dream, every unspoken prayer converges. The iceberg floats, a solitary peak, yet its roots are submerged in this unity inseparable from the whole. To descend is to confront the terror of the unknown, but also to glimpse the infinite potential waiting for the brave, the broken, the seekers who dare to swim where others fear to sink. The fear of freedom and the ache of belonging freedom is a blade with no handle. It is sharp, gleaming, impossible to grasp without wounding the self. To be free is to belong only to the infinite, to stand unmoored from the anchors of tribe, home, and history. Yet the heart recoils, aching for the familiar. The scent of a mother's embrace, the weight of a lover's hand, and the steady rhythm of a nation's anthem. These are the small belongings, the fragile threads that stitch the ego together, offering safety in their confinement. Deeper still lies the fractal wound, a chasm carved through generations, a longing for unity that no earthly bond can heal, a homesickness for a shore that never was. It is the ache of the separation, the myth of isolation, the whisper that you are a stranger in the world of strangers. But here in the shadows of this paradox, a revelation starts to unfurl. True freedom is not the absence of belonging, nor is belonging the absence of freedom. There are two currents in the same ocean entwined. To be free is to surrender the search for safety, to let the iceberg drift without tether, trusting that it will not shatter but dissolve into water, into air, into the boundless field where all things are held. The ache does not vanish, it transforms. It becomes the song of the infinite, a melody that hums through the wound itself. You don't belong to the tribe, the mother, the nation. You belong to the all, and in the belonging you are unbound. The iceberg knows this in its silence. It is not adrift, it is the sea, the sky, the breath between them. Freedom is the courage to ache without clinging, to belong without possessing, to be a home in the vastness of your becoming. This is the eternal death, the initiation into your creator self, your architect self. Death is not a curtain that falls once, but a rhythm that beats through eternity. It is a spiral of endings that births beginnings. Each mask of certainty must perish not in single collapse, but in 1,000 quiet fractures. The ego builds its fortress with walls, towers of belief, yet the superconscious, the I am voice, calls from the air, a wind that erodes stone to dust. There is no gentle guide, it is a forge, a flame that demands surrendering. To hear it is to step into the eternal death, to become the creator self, not a builder of monuments, but a sculptor of your own dissolution. You're the seed that cracks, the shell that splinters, the sprout that rises only because it has let go of what it was. This is transmutation, not termination. Each death strips away the superfluous, the conditioned, the borrowed, and revealing not a void but a presence. The iceberg melts, its edges softening, surrendering to the ocean's embrace. Yet in this melting, it does not vanish, it becomes. The creator self knows no permanence, only the process. The designing not with rigidity of stone, but with the fluidity of water, the ephemerality of air. You're not here to calcify into a final shape, to etch your name into the rock of time. You're here to die again and again, each rebirth a step closer to the infinite. The ocean receives you, the sky lifts you, and the voice within whispers, let go, rise anew. You are not lost, but you are found. The eternal dreamer embraces the spirit. There is no end to seek, no final truth to grasp, only the unfolding of your being. The iceberg dissolves, but it does not disappear. It merges with the whole ocean, it edges blurring into the vastness. You are the dream and the dreamer, the question and the answer, the dying and the waking. In this return, you are free, not because you've escaped the ocean, but you have become it. Beyond words into embodiment, logic is a lantern casting its thin beam into the dark, yet it falters where the ocean deepens. Philosophy is a map tracing the contours of thought, yet it crumbles before the mystery that breathes beyond naming. Life is not a doctrine to be dissected, not a riddle to be solved, but it is a call to be lived, a pulse to be felt. Words can only point like stars guiding a ship through the night. They can't contain the sea they navigate. The invitation is ancient yet ever new. Die to the false, the fleeting, the frail. Dream of the vast, the unseen, the eternal. Remember that you are not a part, but a part woven into the fabric of all that is. To become the creator is not to achieve it, it's to remember that you already are. The creator within you is not a title to earn, it is your original design, veiled through layers of forgetting, distortion, and inherited limitation. Becoming the creator is the process of peeling back those layers, of dying to the small, fearful self, of seeing that you were never at the mercy of life, but co-weaving it all along. To become a creator does not mean control, forcing outcomes, or manipulating reality. It means living in harmonic exchange with existence. It means designing your reality from coherence, not desperation. It means aligning with the original blueprint beneath the fear, scarcity, or shame. The creator designs not from ego's hunger, but from the oversoul's remembrance. To become the creator is to remember that you are not a victim of the iceberg, but you are the ocean. Dissolve the false scaffolding of identity and let the raw infinite field breathe through you. Embody your life as a living fractal expression of Source. Walk not seeking power over, but power with life, with mystery, with the unseen. Your values don't control reality, they anchor you inside it. They are the conscious blueprint the creator within you chooses to build with. The point isn't just to descend, it's to bring the treasures back, to build a life aligned with what you've recovered. Thank you for listening to this transmission. I hope you found this useful. You can listen to this again if you ever feel lost, free diving in the unconscious mind. I hope that you enjoyed this and got something out of it. If you would like to explore deeper into consciousness, I have my Substack, blockmage.substack.com. It is my online diary. I also have my website, blockmage.io, and I look forward to meeting you in person. I have my one-on-one sessions, as well as my Fire Series Masterclass, where I will be initiating you into your wholeness, remembering your original blueprint, your original design, awakening desires into your sovereignty. Please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe so that I can keep making these videos for you. Until next time, I love you.